It's time for a brand new Diablo game, and I'm ready. So it's here, and it is fucking amazing. It doesn't take long to get into a game, and once you get into the game, you're set up to have a blast. I was afraid this was going to suck because Blizzard, Activision Blizzard, whatever, has just been taking a shit in the bed for the last 4 to 5 years. And yeah, honestly, I didn't have my hopes up, to be fair. But this game, Diablo 4, it turned out pretty damn good. Granted, I'm only like level 40, 45 at the recording of this video. And I'm not at the end game yet, so I'm not sure how that is. But so far, up to Act 4 and a lot of side quests, the game is addictive as hell in all the good ways. They have transmogs, they have abilities, they have multiple builds for classes. Granted, some are better than others, but with this kind of game, balances changes are very common, so I suspect changes are going to be coming soon. My first impressions of the game are pretty damn good. I'm having a blast. Me and my friends are just slaying demons left and right, leveling up, getting good loot, switching out our builds, trying new things, listening to the chaotic story, having a blast. It's a good Diablo game. Now, if you're a hardcore Diablo 2 fan, there might be some gripes with the game, but to me, this is like the perfect balance between Diablo 2 and Diablo 3. And in the clan I'm in, a bunch of them are hardcore classic Diablo players as well, and they're having a good time. So I'm thinking it's gonna please players of all generations of Diablo, and even pull in a new generation itself. Like, it's a good game. I decided to toss down the extra buckaroos to play the early access, and I did not regret that purchase. I've had a blast the last 4 days just shredding demons and exploring this huge open world. We're talking huge. Blizzard really went out their way to carve a perfect map for Diablo 4. It is so big, and at first when you have it all fog out, you don't really realize how big it is. And then you start making your way through the game and you're like, fuck, this thing is huge. Like, I still have a big portion of this map I have not touched yet, and I have played a good bit of this game. Let me tell you what, every day I've come home for work, I've sat down and just straight up played this game until it was time for me to pass out, all out G Fuel. So across the map, you got many settlements and like dungeons, and in those dungeons you can get aspects, which carry over each character. You can imprint them into your items, make them legendary items, give them a little bit of an extra stat boost to say. And there is a huge variety of them, and plus you can extract them from the weapons themselves. So say you find a legendary weapon and the imprint is like super good for your build, you can extract it and save it for a later item. Diablo 4 is also very good at explaining its mechanics, so if you don't come from the older Diablo games, you're not going to be completely confused. It explains it very well to you. So for my first go, I went with a Necromancer, and I'm going for a Corpse Explosion minion type build. I'll go through my build and share with you guys. You can test it out, run it yourselves. So here are my items at the current time of recording. Let's move on to the Book of the Dead. These are your minions. I have Skeletal Warrior Skirmisher, Skeletal Mage's Shadows, and Golem Iron. I have a Shadow Darkness build, so it helps out with that. Makes it much easier on me. And here's my skill tree. I go for Decompose here, and then I'll move the fork to the left side. Go down. This is the Blight. I'll move the fork to the right side of it here. Either fork for this one, for the Blight, but Hewed Flesh, you're gonna need this guaranteed. Get that maxed. Skeletal Warrior Mastery, you're gonna need that. You're gonna need Corpse Explosion for sure, and you're gonna need the right fork. And then you're gonna want these two. You're gonna want Fueled by Death and Grim Harvest. These more fueled by death, but either you're gonna need both, so yeah. None of these really. I only went with the Skeletal Mage Mastery here. And then we'll move down. Corpse Tendrils, this is a big one. This is what you're pulling them into, and then you let off the Corpse Explosion. I recommend that for sure, and then you're gonna bring it down on the right fork here. And then on the left side here, this little box, you're gonna wanna get all these eventually. I don't have the skill points for that yet, so I've got this going. But you're going to want to get all these. All these are part of the build. And then you're going to scroll down. For this, you can either use your ultimate or a golem. I'm going with the golem right now. And you'll go down even more. At the end of the tree here, you're going to use Shadow Blight. And that is the build I'm running right now, and it is just doing numbers. So yeah, first impressions so far, I'm having a blast. It's a fun game, and the gameplay loop addictive as hell. Now, so far it's been a smooth launch. This is recorded before the actual launch, but the early access servers were smooth besides 20 minutes one day. Everything else has been fine. I've had some lag spikes in my character, like, you know, desyncing back, and I have to walk, you know, the same 20 feet I just walked before, and, you know, my damage not registering, but yeah, it is what it is. I'm sure they'll iron it out. Another gripe I have with the game is always online. I'm not a big fan of always online. I think it's bullshit, especially in a game you can play offline. I don't care what game it is, including Diablo. There's no reason this game should be online only. I get it. It has MMO aspects. You can see players running around the map. You can help other players that can help you for the most part. But that doesn't excuse always online. And it pisses me off that this game is always online. But those are my main gripes with the game. The gameplay itself, I have no complaints about, at least right now. Like I said, I'm not sure what endgame is looking like. I haven't gotten there yet. These are my first impressions about the first 45 levels, let's say, safe to say at this point. I've only played Druid, Necromancer, and some Rogue. So those are the classes I have experience with currently. I'm looking to try some more here soon. I lost one character after level 30 on hardcore, so there's that. Big rip. But if you're a fan of loot grinders, Diablo, you know, hack and slashers, RPGs, you should check out Diablo. I think you'll like Diablo, especially if you never played it before. If you play Diablo, you pretty much know what you're getting into, but it's more polished this time around, more details and mechanics to it. It's that perfect balance ground between Diablo 2 and 3, and I'm pretty happy with it, and I'm excited to see how this game evolves and progresses throughout time. As long as they stay true to the core mechanics of the game and don't put any like pay to win bullshit in the shop, we'll be alright. There's plenty of transmogs that deck out your character if you don't want to spend money. You don't need to spend money on armor. The transmogs provide plenty of looks for your character. And I love how they did that this time around. The transmogs are great this time around. If you're looking for a fun game to kill some time, hop in with some friends, or even by yourself, then this is a game for you. This is a game that you can probably play for months on end and not get bored. I played Diablo 3 for 4 to 5 years before I put it down for a long time. Obviously not straight, but you know, the game has longevity. But yeah, that's it for now. If you liked the video, go ahead and drop a like. If you dislike it, go ahead and dislike it. Drop a sub, help me out a lot. I'm trying to hit that 1K. And yeah, see you next time. We're going to be covering some Nintendo 64 games next.